in their Cardinal jerseys with white and gray trim. The Admirals are coached by Donald Dodgen. The Wildcats are coached by Ricky Norris. There's a packed house on hand here. The next ball game will have there's four games today. Powell will take on Heritage, and the winner of that game will take on the winner of this ball game. We're about to get set here from the Don W. Lockhart Gymnasium in Clinton, Tennessee. The two coaches talking with the teams right before. Farragut, their record not so great, but they've had a nice little tournament run. 15-12 is their overall record. They do have some height, and Spencer Goldmeyer, they create some matchup difficulties for the Wildcats because of their height.
Yes, they are a very tall team. Ben Bossy, who had some was one of their main players against us last time we played him. He's probably about 6'5", 6'6". He's lanky, he can jump, and he's definitely a scorer for this Farragut team.
About to get set. It'll be Aaron White to jump for the Wildcats. To jump for the Farragut Admirals will be number 24. That'll be Ben Bossy. He's a 6'7" senior. Three officials working from the Upper East Tennessee area. And we're about to get underway from jam-packed Don W. Lockhart Gym. Ball controlled by Aaron White, and the Wildcats have the ball first. And we're underway here in this elimination ball game from Clinton. Grant Domsick at the point for the Wildcats. The junior point works the ball to his left and comes back to his right. Stops and gives it over to Geringer. Brett Geringer looks to Aaron White. Can't get the ball to him. Works around to the left side. Has Yunkin in the right corner. The pass goes to him. A good three-point shooter. Needs 7 tonight to become the all-time leading three-point shooter in Wildcat history. As he throws the ball away, though. Tried to get the ball, I believe, either to Domsick or Geringer. Ball is well overthrown and sails into the stands. It'll be Farragut coming down floor with the basketball is Ben Wilson. He is a 6'4" senior. He gives it up to Marcus Huey, a 6'3" junior guard. He works the ball across the line. Here he goes to Nolan Nevels. Nevels works the ball right side. Back it goes to Bossy. Bossy drives in, pulls up 8-footer, banks it in good. Farragut takes a 2-0 lead with 7:21 to play here in the first quarter. Down the floor, Oak Ridge. Here comes Brett Geringer dribbling in. Looks inside of Rick. Bounce pass goes in, intending it for Daniels Mahal. The Wildcats turn the ball over. Anticipating that pass was Kyle Huckins, who jumped in front, and here come the Admirals down the floor. They lead it 2-0. 7:11 to play first quarter. Admiral basketball. They work the ball along the baseline. Here he goes out to Huckins, pulls up, shoots, and Farragut leads 4-0. Wildcats down the floor, coming off of a big victory this past Friday over the Clinton Dragons at the Oak Ridge High School gym as part of the District 3 tournament. Oak Ridge has the basketball. Grant Domsick drives in, has a little 3-footer. He scores. Wildcats are on the board. And it's a 4-2 ball game. And here comes Farragut moving down the floor, quickly down the baseline. Aaron White tries to cut it off and does. He works the ball back out to the top of the circle. Here he goes out to Ben Wilson. They work the ball inside for a shot off the rim. No good. Tipped and rebounded by Aaron White. Wildcat basketball. Down the floor will come Grant Domsick in a 4-2 ball game. Grant's going to bring it across the line. Stop. Has Rick early. Goes into him. He turns. He spins. He drives. Rick Daniels Mahal missed the shot. Rebounded by the Farragut Admirals. They lead it by a score of 4-2. 6:20 to play here in the first quarter. Nolan Nevels with the basketball. Works the ball back to the top of the circle to Marcus Huey. Swings the ball right side. Farragut's got some good outside shooters. They put up a 3, no good. Grant Domsick has the rebound. The Wildcats down the floor, trailing by 2. Here's Yunkin, free for a 3. Pulls up, guns it. On its way, it's up, and it is in and out. No good. On the rebound will come Farragut. Nolan Nevels pulls down the board. 5:56 to play first quarter. Farragut basketball. They lead by 2. There's a floating shot. No good. Big Rick battles for the rebound. Saves it inbounds, and then Farragut grabs it. They'll set up their offense once again. Farragut drives in, pulls up, shoots. Good. Farragut by 4, 6-2. 5:41 to play in the first quarter. Here comes Grant Domsick down the floor for the Wildcats. This is an elimination ball game. The winner to play the winner of the Powell Heritage ball game as Oak Ridge works into Daniels Mahal. He goes in for the shot. No good. Draws the foul from Farragut. Personal foul is going to be called against Ben Wilson, 6'4" senior. First foul called in the ball game. Comes at the 5:27 mark of the first quarter. And Rick Daniels Mahalan will go to the free throw line for Oak Ridge. It's a 6-2 ball game. Farragut on top. Clinton beat Bearden in the first game today. Maryville beat Halls. This is our third ball game. The fourth game, as I mentioned a moment ago, Powell and Heritage, the District 3 champions against the District 4 number 4 team. Rick hits the first free throw. 6-3 the score. Back to the line will go the senior. Be playing football at the University of Tennessee next year. Shot is up, good. As Oak Ridge substitutes freshman Quinche Dowdell into the ball game, and Rick is going to take a seat. 5:27 to play first quarter, and Oak Ridge is going to put a little pressure on. Wildcats have 2 freshmen in the ball game. Quinche Dowdell and Jared Stevens. Admiral basketball, they work the ball in. Down the floor with it. Wildcats putting a lot of pressure in. A near steal. As the Wildcats put a lot of pressure on, they work the ball across the line. They might have a layup if he can control the pass. He goes out of bounds. It'll be Oak Ridge's basketball. One of the goals to the press is to always get turnovers, is to speed up the other team, make them do things they don't want to do, and that's exactly what Oak Ridge did. And here comes Oak Ridge back the other way, trailing by 2. 6-4 the score. Brett Geringer with the basketball. Dribbles out to the right, penetrates in, wants to go all the way through, kicks it out to Jared Stevens. The freshman shoots a three-pointer. Good. Three-point shot for Jared Stevens, and the Wildcats have their first lead. 7-6 the score, 4:56 to play in the first quarter. Here comes Farragut down the floor. Marcus Huey works the ball to Nolan Nevels. Nevels holds the ball. Geringer picks him up. He penetrates and now cannot shoot. Backs it up to the top of the circle over to Kyle Huckins. Huckins for Farragut, works it back to Nolan Nevels. Back to the right. Once again, it goes to Ben Bossy. Ben Bossy drives in, might have walked, turns the ball over on the ground. It's a loose ball. Alternate possession on a jump ball will give the ball to Farragut. Wildcats on top by 1. Spencer, kind of a half-court start to the ball game as the Admiral substitute a couple new players into the ball game.
Yeah, so Oak Ridge is doing a great job on defense the last few possessions, getting on the ground, scrapping for the ball, and that just shows a lot of hustle Oak Ridge has been playing with these last few games. Hopefully they'll come out with a victory night, and this is going to be a really close game.
Farragut puts up a shot and draw a foul. The basket is good, and Farragut retakes the lead by 1. It'll be 6 points now in the ball game for the Admiral, number 24, Ben Bossy, and he'll go to the free throw line, trying to convert a three-point play. 8-7 our score, 4:31 to play first quarter. Farragut by 1. Free throw is good. Admirals by 2 once again, 9-7. No pressure in the rear court. Farragut has put B.J. Browning in the ball game as the Wildcats freshman works the ball down to the left side to Geringer. Brett Geringer back to Jared Stevens. Back to the top. It goes to Brett. Brett thought about shooting a 3, unable to do so. Goes to Aaron White. He drives in, pulls up, gets a layup. Good. Wildcats score the two-pointer inside with Aaron White, and it's a 9-9 ball game. 4:10 to play first quarter. The Admirals and the Wildcats here. The two teams have been playing each other since 1944. As a missed shot by Farragut, rebounded back up, no good. This time Quinche Dowdell pulls down the rebound, and here it goes out to Jared Stevens. He works the ball across the line. They're moving away from us as we broadcast from the top level here as they work the ball inside of Quinche. The freshman turns, wants to shoot, does, and scores. Quinche Dowdell gives Oak Ridge a 2-point lead. 11-9 the score, 3 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the first quarter. Here comes Farragut down the floor. They work the ball out to the top to Bossy. Bossy drives in, pulls up, wants to shoot. Little 8-footer, rims out, no good. Rebounded by Quinche Dowdell. Wildcat basketball up by 2. Here it goes down the floor to Grant Domsick. The junior works the ball to his right, and the ball is taken away by Farragut, then deflected and taken right back by Jared Stevens. Jared Stevens penetrates all the way to the arc, and is fouled. Personal foul called against Farragut. When Jared Stevens is running around those tall Farragut players, it looks so funny, but he's so much quicker than those guys, and he drove in, and I thought he was going to dish it off first, but then he decided he was going to take it in and draws the foul.
Yeah, he did a nice job of getting the steal, and when he drove it in, he saw that the pass wasn't going to be open down low to number 3, Quinche Dowdell. He did a wise decision. I thought he was going to pull it back out, but then it looked like he was going to take it in big, but unfortunately for Oak Ridge, he got a foul as Rick Mahan gets his block shot, and Farragut comes down with the ball.
11-9 the score. Down the floor with the basketball will come Farragut. Wildcats on top by 2. Farragut gets a 3 off. It's partially rejected. Rebounded by Quinche Dowdell. Freshman looks and throws the ball away. Then they tie the ball game at 11. So Quinche threw it right to the Admiral, who put it back up and scores. And back the other way will come Oak Ridge. Wildcats have 2 freshmen in the ball game, a junior, a senior, actually 2 juniors, and a freshman. Quinche puts it in and scores. So he makes up for it with a beautiful drive along the baseline, and Oak Ridge retakes the lead by 2. 13-11 the score, 2:41 to play first quarter. Admiral basketball, here it goes out to Marcus Huey. They work the ball out to the top, around the wing it goes to Tyler Powell. Back to the left it goes, around to Huey, working the perimeter, everybody up high except one Admiral, and that is Scott Carroll. He's down along the block. Now they've got everybody above the arc. They will go inside to that man. He pulls up, little baby hook is off the rim, no good. Farragut killing Oak Ridge on the boards. They put up and score. Back to a 13-13 game. Wildcats struggling for rebounds here as the Wildcats come down the floor, tied at 13. 2:11 to play first quarter. Very fast-moving quarter here as Domsick gets the ball on the right side, goes along the baseline to Stevens. Jared Stevens works the ball in, lost it. I think he was either going to go towards the basket or give it over to Rick. Rick did not move, and the ball's turned over, and here comes Farragut down the floor. Once again with the basketball come Marcus Huey. Got a screen, works out to the top of the circle, tried to penetrate in. Now swings the ball to his right. Now they go inside to the postman on the block, pulls up and shoots and scores. Farragut drops it in with number 32, Scott Carroll, and it's back to a 2-point Admiral lead. 15-13 the score. Minute 37 to play first quarter. Domsick with it over to Jared Stevens. Stevens works the ball to the top. Here it goes to Yunkin. Yunkin works the ball to his right. Over it goes to Grant Domsick. Penetrates left. Goes into Stevens. Pulls up in the paint. Shoots and missed it, but does draw the foul from one of the Admirals, and the freshman will go to the free throw line. Jared Stevens very active since he's entered the game for the Wildcats. He's so much smaller than the Admiral players, and let's see what Jared can do at the free throw line.
Yes, I'm just waiting for him to crack the starting lineup. I think he just adds a lot to this team when he gets out there. His intensity, his defense, and his quickness on the offensive side of the ball. He brings a lot to this Oak Ridge team as he misses his first free throw.
Normally a pretty good free throw shooter, shooting over 70% on the year. The Wildcats substitute Quinche Dowdell and Steve Yunkin out of the ball game. Ravel Coffey comes into the game for the first time. The Wildcats also have Domsick in, Rick Daniels Mulholland, and Aaron White. Jared Stevens back to the free throw line, shoots the second toss, good. It's a 1-point game, 15-14 the score. Here comes Farragut down the floor, minute 23 to play in the first quarter. The winner to take on the winner of the Powell Heritage ball game. That game will be on Thursday. Their basketball. Farragut drives in, and then he steps out of bounds with it. Good defense. Rick might have bumped him out of bounds, but if you're an Oak Ridge fan, you'll take it, and Aaron White will work the ball in. Donald Dodgen is the head coach of the Farragut Admirals. He's been there a while. Took over, I believe, probably 10 or 15 years ago. The Wildcats have won 8 straight games, actually maybe 9 straight games in the postseason over Farragut. Haven't lost to him since 1986 in the postseason. Oak Ridge ball, Aaron White dribbles in, kicks it out to Grant Domsick for 3. On its way, no good. Rebound to Farragut. Admirals come down with it, and they travel with it. Aaron White went up with him to get the rebound, and so did number 14, Blake Denny, who actually got the rebound. He went up, came down, and kind of was off balance and kind of moved the pivot foot, and it'll be a turnover. The Wildcats will get it.
That was good hustle by Aaron White. He wasn't in position, but got his hand on the ball and caused the guy to stumble a little bit, and he pulled his hand away right at the right time.
Coffey with the basketball to Yunkin. Yunkin thought about going inside, does to Aaron White along the baseline, pull up, spins, shoots, no good. Rebounded by Ravel Coffey, comes crashing down to the floor. Farragut gets the rebound. Wildcats down a point, Farragut ball. 38 seconds to play. Along the baseline, driving with number 50, pulls up, nearly walks, holds the ball, now goes inside. Here's a shot, it's up. Farragut takes a 3-point lead. Kyle Huckins scores. The Wildcats down 17-14. 26 seconds to play here in the first quarter. The Wildcats have yet to get any offense out of Rick Daniels Mulholland. The Wildcats play for the final shot here in the first quarter. 17-14 our score. A 3-point lead for the Admirals. The Region 2 basketball tournament. This is an elimination ball game, as will the semifinals. You got to get to the championship game. As Coffey, he had Rick early, and the ball is knocked out by Farragut. He could have gone inside to Rick Daniels Mulholland, who came open just for a second, but he dished it off to the right, and the Wildcats have 2.6 seconds to work the ball in and get a shot off. Wildcats will get the ball first in the second quarter as Wildcats prepare to substitute Brett Geringer in. He'll come in for Jared Stevens. 2.6 seconds to play. It'll be Brett to work the ball in. The Wildcats down 3, 17-14. 2.6 seconds to play. First quarter action. Geringer to work it in. In it comes to Rick. Has to shoot it. It does. Off balance. It is no good. Hits the rim as the first quarter comes to a close. Our score after one quarter basketball here at the Don W. Lockhart Gymnasium in Clinton, Tennessee. The Region 2 basketball tournament, 17-14 our score. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
They got signs
I'll go halftime. I'll bring it back to you.
Back here at the Don W. Lockhart Gymnasium, Clinton, Tennessee. Second quarter about set. Oak Ridge trailing by 3, 17-14. Wildcats come out with Brett Geringer, Grant Domsick, Aaron White, Rick Daniels Mulholland, and Steve Yunkin. Yunkin works the ball to Domsick. Domsick dribbles along the baseline, got a screen, kicks it out to Brett. Brett cannot shoot. Works the ball top of the circle back to Grant. It goes inside of Rick. Turns, spins, drives, shoots, and scores. Rick Daniels Mulholland has his first 2, and the Wildcats trail by a point. Actually, his 4th point. 17-16 the score. His first field goal of the ball game as they work the ball inside. Huckins drives along the baseline, dribbles it out of bounds. Oak Ridge will get it on their turnover. Got the ball down low and just kind of tried to take Rick down low, but then Rick kind of forced him out of bounds. He turns it over.
That was a good possession by Rick on the offense and defensive side of the ball. He did a great job sliding his feet right there instead of reaching, drive the guy towards the baseline, and he just dribbled the ball off the side of his leg.
Wildcat basketball. Here it goes to Brett Geringer. Has Yunkin in the corner. Thought about shooting a three. Backs it up to Geringer. Now Steve drives in, pulls up. 8-footer is a little short. On the rebound, it comes a loose ball. It'll be Oak Ridge ball. They lob the ball back out, and Brett's got it. Brett Geringer then gives it out to Domsick, but there's a lot of contact, but nothing. Brett to Steve for three. No good. Rebound by Rick Daniels-Mulholland. He turns, he drives, he shoots. What's the call? It's going to be an offensive foul call against Daniels-Mulholland. Pretty good call by the official, I thought. He kind of backed his butt into the backside of the Admiral, and the Wildcats turned the ball over. It'll be the second team foul called against the Wildcats. Player foul number 1 against Rick. 7 minutes to play in the second quarter. Here comes Farragut down the floor. The Wildcats playing with Brett Geringer. Quinche Dowdell's back in the ball game. Down the floor will come the Admirals. They lead Oak Ridge by 1. Working out of a trap. They work the ball around to the left, trying to get the ball inside. Bounce pass out to the top of the circle. Farragut up by 1, 17-16. They pull up and shoot a shot just inside the arc. Good. 2-point bucket makes it a 3-point game once again. 9 for Bossy, and here comes Oak Ridge. Yunkin, left corner, won't take the shot. Backs it over to Domsick. Back to Yunkin. Steve's got to be able to knock down some of those shots as Oak Ridge works it in there, and White who scores. White off the glass for the Wildcats, and it's a 1-point game. 19-18 the score. 6:23 to play in the second quarter. Here comes Farragut down the floor. They work the ball to the left corner. Out it goes to Huckins. Huckins on a bounce pass, gives it right back out to Wilson. Wilson drives in. Pulls up, and before that he goes in, and a foul is going to be called against Oak Ridge. On the floor, not a shooting violation. It'll go against Steve Yunkin. That'll be for Steve. Personal foul number 1. Team foul number 3 called against Oak Ridge. As Jared Stevens and Ravel Coffey check back in. Geringer and Yunkin check out. Farragut by 1, 19-18, 6:12 to play. We're in the first half. With the basketball will come the Admirals under the baseline. They'll try to work the ball in. I'm kind of out of my side. They get a shot off. No good. It's an air ball. Domsick on the rebound. Grant Domsick's going to bring the ball straight down the middle of the floor, then wait for his teammates and set up the offense. Here he goes along the baseline to White. Aaron pulls up, 6-footer. Aaron White drops it down. White gives Oak Ridge a 1-point lead. 20-19 the score, 5:56 to play. With the basketball will come the Farragut Admirals facing pressure. They work the ball out to the left side. Here it goes to Nolan Nevels. Back to the right. They work the ball inside for a shot off the glass. No good. Big Ravel Coffey. Skies for the rebound. The All-State defensive back pulls it down and brings the ball down the floor. Ravel drives in, pulls up, little 6-footer. Not a good shot at all. On the rebound will come the Farragut Admirals, and here they come the Admirals straight down the middle, driving in, kicking it inside. There might have been a walk, but no call. They drive in, and Kyle Huckins scores. Once again, the Wildcats trail by 1. 21-20 the score, 5:24 to play second quarter. This is the runner-up team out of District 4 against the number 3 team out of District 3. The Wildcats working into Aaron White, who kicks it in Ravel to Domsick in the left corner. Grant Domsick backs her up outside the 3-point line, now penetrates in, gives it over to White. White thought about driving in, drives the baseline, no place to go, kicks the ball right side once again to Domsick. Domsick back to Jared. The freshman will shoot another 3. He missed it. Rebound to Farragut. Admiral basketball, and down the floor they'll come, leading Oak Ridge by 1, 21-20 the score, 4:52 to play in the second quarter. Lady Wildcats will play tomorrow at 6:30 against the Lady Admirals with a chance to go to the sub-state with a victory. 4:43 to play. Admirals on top. Then they turn the ball over. Ravel steals it. Ravel's going coast to coast with it. He's going to drive in now. Wisely backs it up to Stevens. Jared Stevens inside of Aaron White. Turns, spins, shoots, and scores. Aaron White has come to play tonight, and the Wildcat has 8 points, and Oak Ridge retakes the lead by 1. 22-21 the score, 4:24 to play here in the second quarter. Admiral basketball, here goes to Kyle Huckins. There's a walk, and the Wildcats will get it. Turnover by number 24, Ben Bossy, and a timeout is asked for. The first timeout called in this basketball game. 22-21 the score, Oak Ridge by 1. We'll take a break with them. Send it back to Darren Creek. We'll be back following this 30-second timeout. Back here on AM 1290 WATO, Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. We're also on the internet, prepradio.com. The Wildcats on top, 22-21. The Wildcats have the ball. 4:18 to play in the second quarter. These two teams have played twice already. Oak Ridge won at home. Farragut won at their home gym, so nothing unusual about this. The two teams have played close ball games in their 2 ball games. Of course, this one a little bit more important than those early season ball games. This is an elimination ball game. The winner advances to play their pal or Heritage. The loser ends their season. The Wildcats dropped the opening round game last year to the Maryville Rebels. Maryville had a huge win today over Halls in the first round. Oak Ridge ball. Here it goes to Aaron White. White works it over to Domsick, who brings it across the line. Clinton had a come from behind victory. They were down by 17 points in the first half, and Clinton won it in overtime. Aaron White dribbles in, backs up his dribble, works the ball inside, and ball is thrown away at the last touch by, and they're going to change it. I think Oak Ridge, it looked like it was last touched by Farragut Admiral. They might revert. No, they're not going to reverse the call. They're going to say it was not touched. I thought it was actually touched by one of the Admirals. It'll be Farragut basketball. Oak Ridge by 1, 22-21. James Branson doing our camera work now. We have also here Mike Sheehan. We've got Paul Bingham, Spencer Goldmeyer, Michael Friels. We have everybody's here. The whole crew made it to Clinton tonight. 22-21 the score. Here comes the Dragons, or the Admirals down the floor. We're in the Dragons gym. They won a big game today. Farragut with the ball. Down by 1, 22-21 the score. Bounce pass right side goes to Marcus Huey. Huey drives to the free throw line, throws up a shot, partially rejected. Rebound, Aaron White. Wildcat basketball. Here's the outlet to Quinche Dowdell. He goes coast to coast. He spins, he shoots, and he scores. Quinche Dowdell, a great move and a great feed. And the Wildcat lead is up to 3. 24-21 the score. Here come the Admirals down the floor. Huey with the basketball. In the rear court, harassed out high, works the ball down the floor. They set it out for a shot. On its way, it's up good. 2-point bucket made by Scott Carroll. And back the other way will come Oak Ridge. Their lead is 1. 24-23. Ravel Coffey along the baseline, kicks it into Quinche. He drives in for the shot. No good. Gets his own rebound and scores. Quinche Dowdell, the Wildcat posts are just dominating inside. 8 points now for Quinche, and Oak Ridge has a 3-point game. 20 of the 26 points have been scored by the Wildcat post players. And a near steal. The ball is knocked out by Farragut. Wildcat should get the basketball. It was off the fingertips of number 10, B.J. Browning. The Wildcats will get the ball. Wildcat posts, especially Quinche and Aaron, are really playing well inside. They're outsized, maybe not out-athleted, but the Wildcats are doing well inside.
Yes, definitely Oak Ridge's. Posts are battling with them hard. I think our posts are outscoring them by about 6 points of their post, and if we could do that all night, Oak Ridge will come out on top because the post for Farragut's their strength, definitely.
26-23, Oak Ridge by 3. 2:41 to play second quarter. Wildcat ball, Yunkin in the corner. Bounce pass inside a big Rick. He puts it up, missed it. Doesn't really have his shot down tonight as the Admirals bring the ball down the floor. Then Aaron White steals it, calls a timeout, runs into Micah Baker. Did they get the timeout called in time? It was a great hustle play anyway by Aaron White, who grabbed it, called a timeout, and let's see if indeed they're going to give possession. They're not. They're going to give Farragut the ball, but he slammed Micah Baker right there, right here in front of me, and then he came running against the wall here. He's okay. It'll be Farragut basketball. To work the ball in will be Marcus Huey. Admiral ball, they trail Oak Ridge by 3. 26-23 the score. Elimination ball game here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. The Lady Wildcats, as I mentioned, will play Farragut tomorrow here at Clinton, and the chance to go to the sub-state. Farragut drives in. Before that, a holding foul is going to be called. It's on the floor, so away from the ball. It will not count. 2:13 to play, and one of the Wildcats, Brett Geringer, seems to be a little bit hobbled. He's going to stay in the ball game here. Once again, it'll be Grant Domsick coming in for Brett, who comes limping out, and Kelly Rowland, the trainer of the Wildcats, will attend to him. 26-23, Oak Ridge in the lead. Admiral basketball. Here it goes once again. They pull up and shoot. Good. Farragut's got some shooters, that's for sure. 11 points for Ben Bossy, and the Wildcat lead is cut down to, they put it on the wrong side of the scoreboard. The Wildcats lead is cut down to 1. Oak Ridge ball. Here goes Jared Stevens, drives in. Offensive foul called against Jared, right over the top of the much bigger young man from Farragut. And once again, with 1:56 to play, the Wildcat lead is 1, 26-25. 1:56 to play. Only the 4th team foul called. Farragut's only committed 3, only the 5th team fouls. They put it up on the board a little bit later. As the Admirals have the basketball, they drive in, pull up, shoot, and score. Farragut back up by 1. Wildcats trail. Here comes Oak Ridge's Jared Stevens down the floor. Here goes to Yunkin. Looks inside, backs it up to Stevens, back to White. Aaron White to Domsick. The Wildcats trailing 27-26 in a game that has changed leads a number of times here in the first half. Stevens dribbles in, penetrates, shoots, missed it. Rebound by Farragut. Just wouldn't fall for Jared. And here come the Admirals with a chance to pad their 1-point lead. Dribbling in. That's a tough call against the Wildcats. You might hear the boos chorusing around the gym. Most of them are the Watto boys here. 1:24 to play. Farragut basketball, they lead by 1, 27-26. as play is halted and a timeout is asked for. Minute 24 to play first half. Farragut 27, Oak Ridge 26. We'll take a break. We'll be back to the Clinton High School gym in 30 seconds. Back here on AM 1290 WATO, Oak Ridge Schools Television, Channel 15, and on the internet, prepradio.com. Farragut by 1, 27-26. As the Admirals prepare to work the ball in. Wildcats putting a little pressure on. They've yet to get the ball in. 5 seconds, or do they have to call a timeout? I think they call a timeout to save possession. Good defense by the Oak Ridge, limiting the Admirals from getting the ball inside. Spencer, very low-scoring ball game. Neither team playing poorly. Farragut's shooting the ball real well. Wildcats doing a great job getting the ball inside.
Yes, both teams are doing a great job defensively. Rick Daniels Mahone needs to step it up for the rest of this quarter and into the second half, as he only has 4 points and he's been our leading scorer all season, and we need some offensive out of him and a couple of our guards.
Wildcats trying to win their 20th game of the year against the second-seeded team out of District 4. They were defeated by Bearden in the championship ball game. Bearden's been defeated tonight by Clinton. Clinton came from 17 points down to do it. 27-26, 1 point Admiral lead. Minute 24 to play second quarter. Farragut works the ball in. They get an easy one up, and they miss it. Rebound to Yunkin if he can control it. The Wildcats have it. Jared Stevens has it. Has trouble with it. Then is taken away from him. It's a jump ball, the alternate possession arrow to Farragut. Wildcats had the opportunity there. Steve just couldn't quite get to the ball. And the alternate possession arrow will give Farragut back the ball, I believe. That is the case. Minute 14 to play. The Wildcats had an opportunity there and just couldn't hold on to the ball. Coach Norris talking with the official right here in front of him. Wildcats are the visitors. Farragut is the home team. So if you're used to coming to an Oak Ridge Clinton game, they're sitting in their normal benches here. It'll be once again the Admirals to work the ball in. They lead Oak Ridge by 1, 27-26. Farragut works the ball in. They get a shot off, and it's good. They got it to the free throw line. 15 points already for number 24, Ben Bossy, and the Wildcats bring the ball down the floor. Near walk by Domsick, kicks it over to White. Inside to Rick, he throws the ball away. Aaron does. Farragut by 3 with the ball, and a breakaway layup opportunity until Jared Stevens steals it. Wildcats back the other way. Wildcats have the numbers early as Jared brings the ball quickly and throws a terrible pass. Intercepted by Farragut. Layup. No good. Foul called against Oak Ridge. Wildcats tried to run when they really didn't have the numbers. Wildcats are down 3 after leading by 3. The Wildcats trail 29-26. Farragut just shooting the ball extremely well, getting some pretty good looks at it. As Farragut goes to the free throw line, the man fouled was Nolan Nevels. 29-26 to score, 45.8 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Nevels shoots, good. Farragut by 4, I believe that is their biggest lead. Back to the free throw line once again, Farragut Admirals. Wildcats playing with Yunkin. He was the man who committed the foul, his second. Brett Geringer on the bench with a twisted ankle. Back to the free throw line will go Farragut. Toss, good. Farragut by 5, 31-26. The Wildcats will bring the ball down the floor. Oak Ridge is never really very good at playing for the final shot, but that's what I assume they'll try to do here. As Jared Stevens brings the ball across the line, penetrates to his right, works the ball out to Domsick, has Yunkin spotted up in the corner, works the ball cross court to Stevens. Stevens works the ball, there's Yunkin, he's got a 3, it's on its way, they need it, he missed it. Rebound to Yunkin, he drives back in, lost it, taken away by Farragut. Wildcats down 5, the Admirals have the basketball. 31-26, Steve was open out in their corner and he's got to drop those in. The Wildcats are going to have any chance of winning this ball game. They need somebody from the perimeter to score. Farragut has everybody down low. They'll drive in, try to get an easy shot. They will not. Rick steals it. Rick down the floor with 3 seconds. Rick Daniels Mulholland takes one at midcourt and almost hit it as the first half comes to a close. So both teams had leads in the first half. Farragut has the biggest lead as they go to halftime on top of the Wildcats, 31-26. Spencer, your thoughts about the first half here?
Oak Ridge came out and they started off slow for the first minute or so, and then they started playing really hard. I mean, they just came out. Aaron White has stepped it up big time for Oak Ridge in this first half as he had 8. And just Oak Ridge's post, I mean, mainly between Aaron and Quinshade Aldell. If it wasn't for them two, we'd be definitely out of this game. But Oak Ridge needs to get it down into Rick Daniels Mulholland, and he needs to start scoring. I mean, he posted up. He's a big physical guy. He's definitely much stronger than anybody out there on the floor.
Let's take a break here. Send it back to Darren Creek, our engineer, back to the station. This is the third ball game of the night. Clinton beat Bearden in overtime. to advance to play in the semifinals. Their opponent will be the Maryville Rebels, who knocked off Halls. So that's one matchup. This winner of this ball game will take on the winner of the fourth ball game tonight, the Powell Panthers or the Heritage Mountaineers. Of course, remember the Lady Wildcats will be playing tomorrow at 6:30 against Farragut as well. 31-26 is our score, a 5-point lead for the Farragut Admirals. We'll take a break, send it back to our engineer Darren Creek. When we come back, Spencer will run down the first half statistics. 31-26 Farragut, back following this 3-minute timeout. Never sat here before. What? You're on. Oh.
Paul Bingham back here at Clinton High School. Your leading scorers for Clinton are Farragut are B.J. Browning with 2, Blake Denny with 2, Ben Boss with 15, Nolan Mevels with 2, Scott Carroll with 4, Kyle Hoskins with 6. Oak Ridge leading scorers are Quinshay Dowdell with 8, Grant Domsick with 2, Jared Stevens with 4, Aaron White with 8, and Rick Daniels Mulholland with 4. The brackets are left tonight, of course, is Farragut Oak Ridge. After this game will be Carnes and Powell. The boys' side is Clinton and Maryville, which Clinton won that game tonight. And right now is Oak Ridge and Farragut.
Thanks a lot, Paul. We're about 6 minutes away from the start of the second half. The Wildcats down 31-26. Back here at the Clinton Senior High School gym on AM 1290 WATO, Oak Ridge Schools Television, Channel 15, and on the internet, prepradio.com. Farragut on top of the Wildcats, 31-26. The winner advances to play either Powell or Heritage. The loser ends their season here at Clinton. Last year, the Wildcats were defeated in the first round of this tournament by the Maryville Rebels as they hit some free throws with no time on the clock to beat Oak Ridge. The Wildcats are going to get the ball first, coming out with Grant Domsick along with Jared Stevens, Brett Geringer, Aaron White, and Rick Daniels Mahal. The Wildcats down 5. Their biggest lead was 3, I believe. But this is the biggest lead of the night for either team. Oak Ridge ball. Domsick with the basketball. Got to get him involved offensively. They work the ball to Stevens. Inside of Rick. He turns, he spins, he drives, he shoots, and he missed it. But the Wildcats get the rebound right back up. It's knocked out of bounds by Farragut. Should be Oak Ridge's ball underneath the go. Rick struggling to get his shot to fall. Wildcat ball underneath the go. Grant Domsick will work the ball in. Oak Ridge trailing 31-26. Oak Ridge ball. Eventually they'll get it in. They work it into Aaron White. Inside of Jared Stevens. He drives in. He walks to the basketball. Wildcats turn the ball over in a 5-point game. The Wildcats can ill afford to fall too far behind. The Wildcats are having some struggles from the perimeter. They've had some good inside scoring tonight, but the outside shooting has just not been there, at least to this point. 7:37 to play, third quarter, 31-26 to score. Farragut basketball. Wildcats working hard on defense. They try to work the ball in. A near steal by White. He looks back door and throws it away. Intercepted by Jared Stevens. Stevens going to bring the ball straight down the floor. Give it off to Brett. Brett cannot shoot. Back to the top it goes. Stevens right side of Domsick. Domsick got a screen. Pulls up. Little 5-footer is no good. Oh, just rolled off the rim. Wildcats got a couple good looks, and that's actually a positive sign because the Wildcats are getting better looks at it. Just that one just wouldn't fall for him. 5-point game. We've played about a minute of this second half. 31-26, Farragut in the lead. Admiral basketball. They can shoot from anywhere on the floor, and they've got big, tall players. They worked for a 3. It's on its way. It's up. It's no good. Rebound by Aaron White. Oak Ridge once again trailing by 5, once again with the ball. Here's Jared Stevens down the floor. Wildcats work it over to White. Dribbles in, walks with the basketball. Wildcats turn the ball over yet another time. 6:44 to play third quarter. Wildcats continue to make stops on defense, but Wildcats continue to shoot themselves in the foot on offense, Mike.
Yeah, David, they're getting a good shot. They're just not going rushing just a little bit too forceful and coming in off the wing. And Farragut Adams are getting rebound. We're not getting many second shots on that.
6:42 to play, third quarter. Down the floor of the basketball will come the Admirals once again. Nolan Nevels with the basketball. He nearly falls down. He works the ball inside, kick it in for a shot. They score. Farragut by 7. Wildcats are beginning to get in a little bit of trouble here. Obviously trying to find some offense. Oak Ridge down 33-26. With the basketball will come Grant Domsick. Wildcats work the ball outside. Here goes to Stevens into Rick Daniels Mulholland. Turning, spinning, driving, shooting up, and missed it again. But there's Aaron White with the rebound. Back up, he's fouled. Wildcats getting the ball inside to Rick, and he just can't get the shots to fall. Wildcats are down by 7, 33-26, and Aaron White will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, Rick's shots, they're right there on the rim, and they bought all kinds of iron. The touch is just not right there, and it rolled off.
Free throw missed by the usually good shooting free throw shooter, Aaron White. The Wildcats down 7, 33-26, 6:11 to play third quarter. Can't let Farragut. Farragut's been on a roll the entire postseason, finishing second after finishing fourth in the regular season. White's second toss, it is good. White cuts the gap to 6, 33-27. Farragut on top, 6:11 to play third quarter. Here come the Admirals down the floor. The Wildcats playing McQuinche, Dowdell, Grant Domsick, and near steal by Brett. They've got the basketball. Here's a steal by Wildcats, and then the ball's kicked out by Farragut. Wildcats will get it. Great hustle by the Wildcats. Quinche Dowdell went down for a loose ball and shoved it, and then the Farragut player trying to reach for it knocked it out of bounds. And once again, it'll be Oak Ridge basketball. Coming down the floor with it will come Jared Stevens, taking over the point. He works the ball to Geringer. Oak Ridge down 6 with the ball. Here goes to Domsick. Domsick right side of Dowdell. Holds the ball, works the ball top of the circle, swings the ball left corner and throws it away. Quinche, I think, was trying to get it to Brett, and Brett wasn't sure where the ball was going, and it's another turnover. The Wildcats killing themselves with turnovers here. They're trailed by 6. Farragut ball, they get the ball inside for shot, blocked, and a foul's called against Oak Ridge. Farragut does not miss free throws. So at this stage in the ball game, you do not want to foul the Admirals and put them on the line. It's just a 6-point ball game, but the Wildcat offense is just sputtering as they trail by 6, 33-27. To the free throw line will go Ben Bossy, and he has had a huge ball game already in this one.
Bossy going to the line. He already has 15 points tonight and is 1 for 1 from the free throw, or 2 for 2 from the free throw line now. And I mean, he's just their main offense right now. He's about 6'6", long and lanky. And every time he shoots, I mean, gets the ball within about 8 to 10 feet, he knocks it down.
Wildcats down 35-27. Trying to bring the ball down the floor. Jared Stevens facing a little pressure in the rear court. Domsick brings it across the line with a pass to Jared Stevens. He gives it up to White inside of Quinche. He turns, he spins. He wants to shoot. He's stripped to the ball. Another turnover. Wildcats turn the ball over. Then Nolan Nevels turns it over. The Wildcats steal it. Right back with Quinche. Oak Ridge ball. Quinche's out of control, and then he double dribbles the basketball. Never should have had him dribbling the basketball. He should have gotten the ball and given it to a guard in the middle of the floor, and he turns the ball over. That's a good call by the officials. The Wildcats trailing by 8 points, 35-27. Spencer, Wildcats have just made too many mistakes here, and they haven't looked sharp out of the break here. As the Wildcats will substitute Coffey in the ball game. Try to get him in. Now Youngkin's going to come out. The Wildcats need something to happen on defense here.
Yes, they need to step up and make a few stops here. And if they can continue to play like they've been playing, I mean, you can see the end of the Oak Ridge's boys season, and we definitely don't want that. There's plenty of time on the clock, but I mean, the way they're playing, I mean, they're just going to have to step it up.
They trail by 8. They work the ball along the baseline. Then Farragut almost turns the ball over. They've got it along the baseline. They work the ball in. Then a reach-in foul's called against Oak Ridge. 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. 35-27 the score. The Wildcats trailing. Had a 3 or 4 point lead at one point, but currently they trail 35-27 as Ravel Coffey comes out of the ball game. Not exactly sure why. Evidently got popped in the nose and is bleeding a bit. That'll have to bring Youngkin into the ball game. Oak Ridge down 8, 5:02 to play. This Farragut team's got a lot of weapons. Admiral ball. They lob it in. In it comes to Nevels to Huey. Huey works the ball along the baseline. They drive in, take a charge, the Wildcats. They get the rebound back up and score. Wildcats down 10, 37-27. This is an elimination ball game. The Wildcats, if they lose, their season is done. Wildcats are playing with very little life right now. Can't find much offense at all as Quinche has the basketball. Wildcats need something from the perimeter. As Domsick drives in, he's fouled. Wildcats have had no outside shooting to this stage in the ball game. Currently, they trail by 10, 37-27. Wildcats split with the Admirals during the regular season as Rick Daniels Mulholland comes in. The big senior's got to come in and get some big minutes and get some points for Oak Ridge, Spencer.
Yeah, so it's killing Oak Ridge is on the defensive end. They're not coming down with any boards. Farragut's getting 2 or 3 chances, and then on that third or second chance, they're knocking them down.
White pulls up, drops in a shot. Aaron White's come to play tonight, and Oak Ridge trails by 8. Here come the Admirals down the floor quickly, getting it across the line. They give it over to Denny. Wildcats need some stops on defense. They work the ball along the baseline. Here it goes to Nolan Nevels. Nevels goes in, missed his shot. Rebounded by Domsick. Wildcat ball, 8-point game. Jared Stevens down the floor, 4:18 to play, third quarter. Stevens to Domsick, can't take the three-pointer. Works the ball out to the top. Youngkin's got a three, won't take it. Works the ball to Stevens. He'll take a three-pointer. It's up. It is up, no good. Daniels Mulholland on the rebound, puts it up and missed it. But he draws the foul. That's the way the game has gone for Rick. Got the ball where he wanted to, but just couldn't get it to fall, and he'll go to the free throw line.
That was a good job for the second effort by Rick. Now Mulholland going after that rebound, hard rebound. Jared Stevens had an open three, but unfortunately it just rolls in and out. And it's done that all night for Oak Ridge.
Rick will have 2 shots here, 37-29. Daniels Mulholland drops in the free throw, good. Wildcats down 7, 37-30, 4:03 to play. Playing with Domsick in the ball game. Playing with Jared Stevens, Rick Daniels Mulholland, Aaron White, and Steve Youngkin. 4:03 to play, third quarter, 7-point Admiral lead. 37-30. Rick's second toss is no good. Rebound to Farragut. Admiral basketball. Down the floor it goes to Blake Denny. Guarded by Jared Stevens in the rear court. Behind the back dribble. Brings the ball to the midcourt line, and a reach-in foul is going to be called against Jared. For him, that'll be his second personal foul. 3:56 to play, third quarter. 7-point Admiral lead. Wildcats substitute Garinger in for Youngkin. Quinche Dowdell in for Daniels Mulholland. 37-30 the score. Farragut basketball. They have it midcourt. The winner to take on the winner of the Powell Heritage ball game, which will be the 4th game here tonight. Admiral ball in the rear court. They get the ball back across the line with a pass. Here it goes to Ben Wilson. He works along the baseline and throws the ball away. Wildcats have it on a steal. Down the floor it goes to Grant Domsick. Straight down the middle of the floor. Pulls up. Works the ball to the corner. Wildcats have it to Stevens. Back to Garinger. Brett Garinger works the ball left side. There's Domsick. Back to Stevens. Jared penetrates the paint. Lost the ball on the floor. Another steal. Long outlet play. A layup for Farragut. They miss it. They get the dunk in to finish it off, though. Wildcats, too many turnovers. Sure-handed turnovers. The Wildcats got lazy and turned the ball over again. That's just pure laziness and no communication on the part of the Wildcats. Oak Ridge comes down the floor, and the tallest man on the floor comes and picks the pocket of the guard. Wildcats were totally unaware he was coming, and no communication at all on the floor.
Yes, Oak Ridge, I mean, they need to get their head into this ball game. I mean, they're just making some mistakes they do not need to make. I mean, if they keep making these mistakes, they're going to lose the game. I mean, Oak Ridge has better ball handlers than what they're doing.
9-point game. Farragut on top, 39-30, 3:12 to play. Wildcats struggling for offense, struggling for just getting kind of continuity on both sides of the ball. Farragut ball, they'll drive in, strip to the ball. Garinger has it. Wildcats get a steal from them. Bounce pass, they throw the ball away. Ball is last touched by the Wildcats' Aaron White. Oak Ridge tried to run once again and tried to force it. Oak Ridge still down 9, 2:58 to play. Farragut will face some full court pressure. The Admirals work the ball in. Then whistle blows, and Aaron White commits another foul. 15th foul. See if Coach Norris calls a timeout. 39-30 the score. The Wildcats just having trouble getting into an offense. 2:54 to play, third quarter. We'll take a break with them. We'll be back following this 60-second timeout. David Clary, Spencer Gilmeyer back, Harold James Branson, Michael Friels, and a host of other people. Kevin McKeithen, Phil Leanders here with us, Michael Friels, Austin Crow, Jonathan Walls. Farragut on top by 9, 2:54 to play. The Wildcats trying to get some offense generated. Farragut pulls up and shoots a three. They miss it, but the Wildcats can't get the board. Farragut saves it, then it's knocked off the body of one of the Wildcats out of bounds. Great hustle. Farragut's out-hustled Oak Ridge. Wildcats, I watched the Wildcats before the ball game. They were scattered all over the gym socializing, and really were not what I consider to be focused as they came in. As Farragut works the ball in, Then another foul is called against Quinche. Wildcats commit their 6th, and Quinche now has third personal foul. 2:43 to play. Rick Daniels Mahalan comes into the ball game. Steve Youngkin comes in. The Wildcats down 9. Had a 3-point lead, but Wildcats have turned the ball over too much and been off on their shooting, but it's the turnovers that have really killed them. There's a terrible inbounds play. The Wildcats are going to get fortunate. They had a layup as Wildcats were out of position for their inbounds as Wildcats bring the ball down the floor. Farragut missed it, though. It's a 9-point game. Wildcats need offense. They need this man to hit a shot. Three-pointer, good. 3-point shot, Steve Youngkin, and the Wildcats trail by 6, and that's his first 3 of the night. Maybe the team's first points of the night as the Admirals have the basketball. 6-point game, needing a little bit of offense. Driving with the basketball, Wilson. Wilson stripped to the ball. The Wildcats steal it. Domsic has it, and then he's fouled. 4th team foul called against Farragut. 2:12 to play, a 6-point game. The Wildcats trailing 39-33.
Oak Ridge needs to come down here and get a basket. This is a big possession for them. I mean, they've been struggling the last few possessions other than that last one, but if they could come down here and get a nice open shot, they need to work the ball around and work some time off the clock.
Girls will play tomorrow at 6:30 against Farragut. We'll be on the air with that ball game. Hope you'll be with us here at Clinton. Domsic in the ball game along with Jared Stevens, Steve Youngkin, Rick Daniels Mahalan, and Aaron White. Oak Ridge ball. Oak Ridge trying to set up their offense. They throw a pass out to Jared Stevens. Penetrates to his right, gives it over to Domsic. Wildcats down. Domsic gets a layup. He missed it, but Rick's got the rebound. Good. Wildcats trail by 4. 39-35 the score. A minute 44 to play, third quarter. Down the floor with the basketball will come Nolan Nevels. He works the ball to the right side of Marcus Huey. Cross-court pass goes out to the top to Wilson. Wilson around a screen, penetrates the arc, throws the ball at the foot of Grant Domsic, and Farragut with the basketball. 39-35, Farragut on top by 4. A minute 30 to play, third quarter. Farragut basketball, they'll work the ball in. They killed us on the last inbounds. Let's see what they do this time. This time they don't get as good a inbounds play. They work the ball in. Here's a shot. It's on its way, off the rim, no good. Rebounded by the Wildcats. Aaron White with it to Jared Stevens. Wildcats down 4 with the basketball. Minute 20 to play. Here it goes to White, to Youngkin. Youngkin looks into Rick, thought about giving it inside, works into Rick. He turns, he spins, he drives. Daniels Mullen missed it. Oh, he had a good shot. Just wouldn't fall for him. Here come the Admirals down the floor, up by 4. 39-35, a minute 4 to play in the third quarter. Farragut basketball. The Wildcats need a little bit more activeness on their defensive side as they work the ball back out to Marcus Huey. 52 seconds to play. Huey dribbles off to the left side. Jared Stevens on him. 5-second count was on, so he has to give it up. Here he goes on the right side, trying to get the ball inside. They hold the ball with Kyle Huckins along the baseline. Works the ball inside. Now goes back to the back door. Shot is up. Charge called against Farragut. 36 seconds to play. Wildcats down 4. 39-35, and the Wildcats will get the ball. Spencer, big play for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge needs to come down and score and get within 2 or 1 before the start of the fourth quarter.
That was a big play right there by Jared Stevens, the smallest guy on the floor, taking the charge from the biggest guy, and that just takes a lot of heart and a lot of intensity from Jared Stevens.
31 seconds to play. Stevens down the floor. The Wildcats yet to get the ball across the time stripe. Now Jared walks it across. 25 seconds to play. Wildcats working into White. Aaron inside of Rick. He throws a bad pass. It's intercepted. Another turnover for the Wildcats, and Farragut trying to get a little momentum as they drive the baseline for an uncontested layup, but he blows it. And the Wildcats have the rebound. Steve Youngkin down the floor with 9 seconds. Wildcat ball. Here it goes to Grant Domsic. Grant's going to take it strong to the hole and score as the third quarter comes to a close. The Wildcats close the gap to 2. 39-37 the score. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the fourth quarter following this 60-second timeout. Yeah.
I'm going back at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Back here on AM 1290 WATO, the fourth and final quarter just underway. Farragut by 2, 39-37. Admirals have the basketball first. The basketball will come Farragut. They work the ball inside, dribble out to the top, pull up, take an off-balance shot. Oh, it's pretty, it's good. Ben Wilson, just a fadeaway jumper with good defense. The Wildcats trail again by 5. It was a 3-point shot. Oak Ridge ball, Youngkin with it. 42-37 the score. Steve Youngkin's got a wide open look, needs it, missed it. Rebound Farragut. Wildcats down by 5. 42-37, 7:30 to play in somebody's season here tonight at the Clinton High School gym. Emerald ball, they go in for a layup. Good. They work so well together, and the Wildcats now trail again by 7. 44-37 the score. Grant Domsick with the basketball. Oak Ridge kicks it out to Stevens. Jared penetrates in, no place to go. Domsick dribbles in, kicks the ball back out to Steve, has an open look, cannot shoot it, he's fouled. Fouled, hopefully in the act of shooting a three. Nope, good call by the referee, as it's gonna give the Wildcats the ball side court. 7 minutes to play. Wildcats down 7 after closing it to 2. 5 quick points here in the fourth quarter. Wildcats down 44-37. Yunkin trying to work the ball in. Calls somebody up high, gives it over to Aaron White. To Grant Domsick, top of the circle. 44-37. Yunkin with the basketball. Yunkin tries to work the ball inside, throws a bad pass, and they intercept it. Wildcats turn the ball over. Too many turnovers. If Oak Ridge doesn't come back and win this ball game, you can just count it on the turnovers. Just too many of them. Farragut basketball. Outside, they'll drive in, penetrate out to the top. Wilson for three, no good. Rebound to Oak Ridge. Yunkin with the basketball. The Wildcats down the floor, trailing by 7. 44-37 the score. Jared Stevens and Aaron White kicks it out to Yunkin. Thought about shooting, he falls down, gives it out to Stevens. Stevens pulls it up, gives it over to Domsick. Grant drives in, penetrates the paint, goes up for the shot. Foul's called against Farragut. 6:22 to play in the ball game. The Wildcats down 44-37, had closed the gap to 2. But then Farragut came out and just blistered a three-point shot. The Wildcats had a couple turnovers. Wildcats knew to hit their free throws. Domsick, an 82% free throw shooter, goes to the free throw line. 44-37 the score. 6:22 to play in the ball game. Domsick puts the toss up there, and it is good. Grant now has a total of 5 points in the ball game. Wildcats down 6, 44-38. Rick and Steve come out of the ball game. Brett Geringer and Quinche Dowdell check back in. Grant Domsick back to the free throw line. 6:22 to play in the ball game. A 6-point advantage for the Farragut Admirals. Elimination ball game here at the Clinton Senior High School gym. To the line, Oak Ridge. Grant Domsick one more time. Shoots it up there, good. Wildcats trailing by 5 points, 44-39. 6:22 to play in the basketball game. Farragut runs their offense so smoothly. They look so smooth as they work the ball down the floor. Admirals with it, Ben Wilson, bounce pass, he throws it away. The Wildcats will get it. That time, as I said, they worked a smooth offense. I think Marcus Huey was supposed to come and get the ball, just bounced harmlessly out of bounds. The Wildcats have the basketball. Need to take advantage of this mistake as Geringer brings the ball inside to Quinche. Quinche works the ball back out to Stevens. Jared Stevens kicks it out to Brett. Brett drives the baseline, gets a layup, and he scores. Geringer cuts the gap to 3. 44-41 the score. Here come the Admirals down the floor. 5:52 to play. First game was an overtime win by Clinton over Bearden. Right now it's a 3-point game. With the basketball will come the Admirals. 44-41 the score. Farragut with it. Here it goes to Kyle Huckins. To Marcus Huey in the left corner. Stops and backs it up to number 10 in the ball game, B.J. Browning. He works the ball on the baseline, turning, spinning, wants to shoot, he does, no good. Rebound Oak Ridge. Wildcats coming away with a rebound. Here it goes to Jared Stevens, to Brett Geringer, to Aaron White. He drives, he shoots and scores. The Wildcats trail by 1. 44-43 the score, 12 points in the ball game for Aaron White. 5:14 to play in the ball game. It's a 1-point Admiral lead. Down the floor with the basketball, Farragut, they pull up and shoot, they miss it. They get the rebound, back up, ripped away, saved by Farragut. With the basketball, the Admirals for 3, good. 3-point shot to a wide open B.J. Browning. The Wildcats trail again by 4. 47-43 the score. Wildcats down the floor with Grant Domsick to Jared Stevens. He throws the ball out to the top, Farragut has it, then they knock it out of bounds. Off the body of Brett Geringer. No argument from Brett. Wildcats trail by 4 points, 4 minutes, 48 seconds to play. Wildcats cannot get over the hump here. The Admirals, Kyle Huckins will work the ball in. Still a very close ball game, obviously. 4:48 to play, though. Admirals with it. Here it goes out to Blake Denny. Got it out high by Jared Stevens. He dribbles to his right and lobs it out to the top. Here it goes once again to Ben Bossy. Bossy along the baseline. They kick it out for a shot. They'll drive in, pull up, blocked. Taken away by Oak Ridge. White with the basketball. Down the floor, Oak Ridge. Here it goes to Quinche. He drives in for the layup. He scores. Boy, I hesitated because it hit the rim and just finally rolled down. Here comes Farragut down the floor, up by 2. 47-45, 4:19 to play in the ball game. Admiral basketball. Bounce pass, it goes out to the top. Here once again to Blake Denny. Wildcats need a stop on defense. Denny works the ball top of the circle. It's been a long time since the Wildcats had a lead or even were tied as they work the ball down. There's a charge. Oh, he's going to call a block. Not a bad call probably, as he got right in his way just as he came through. The bad news is Farragut does not miss free throws. I mean, they just do not miss free throws. Kyle Huckins, a 6'5" senior, will try to extend the Farragut lead here. 47-45 the score, 4:02 to play in the ball game. The Admirals by 2 points. He'll have 2 shots. Here's the first one. Good. 3-point game as Stevens checks out with his 3rd foul. Back in the ball game will come Yunkin. 48-45 Farragut. Back to the free throw line, Kyle Huckins. Second toss on its way. Good. Telling you, they don't miss them. And the Wildcats will have to come down the floor here and trailing by 4 and get some points here. 3:57 to play in the ball game. Grant Domsick's going to bring the ball across the line. Has Yunkin in the right corner. Steve works the ball to the top of the circle. Works the ball over to Domsick. Penetrates right. Tries to get it inside of Quinche. Quinche sets it up to Steve for 3. Oh, it's no good, but he gets his own rebound. Wanted to shoot again. Drives in to Quinche, who shoots and scores. Wildcats trail by 2. 49-47 the score. Here come the Admirals down the floor once again. With the basketball will come number 14. That's Blake Denny. 3:28 to play. Denny works the ball right side to Huckins. Back to the top they go to Bossy. Bossy to B.J. Browning. Works the ball back out once again. Farragut by 2 with the basketball. 3:18 to play. 49-47 the score. They work the ball to Bossy. Bossy holds the ball. Needs to get rid of it soon. Does. They set it out for a 3. It's up. It's no good. The rebound to Farragut. They get a shot off and they score. 4-point game. Wildcats quickly down the floor once again, trailing 51-47. Brett Garinger with the basketball. Here goes to Domsick. Domsick to Steve. Steve will not take the 3. Grant thought about it. He penetrates in, stripped of the ball and grabs it. Steve with it out to the top of the key. 2:49 to play. The Wildcats down by 4. Garinger with the basketball. Wildcats need points. Steve drives, stops, shoots, knocks down a 3-point shot. And it's a 1-point game. The Wildcats trail 51-50, 2:39 to play in the ball game. Huge shot by Steve Yunkin.
Huge. I mean, you cannot talk about how big those last 2 threes by Steve Yunkin has been. I mean, he's got him back in the game both times within a basket. So, I mean, Steve Yunkin stepped up these last few points, even though he only has 6 points, but both those baskets are probably 2 of the biggest baskets in this game.
51-50. The Wildcats down a point here. 2:39 to play to the Farragut Admirals. Both teams are on the 1 in the bonus here. Both teams have committed 7 team fouls. Farragut will have the basketball. Back out on the floor will come the Admirals with Huckins. They also have in the ball game Ben Bossy, Marcus Huey's in the ball game, Ben Wilson. The Wildcats playing with Rick Daniels Mahalan, Aaron White, Jared Stevens, Brett Garinger, Grant Domsick. Farragut basketball, 51-50 they lead. They can just work the clock off. Let's see how Oak Ridge works it. Everybody goes down to the block here as Huey works the ball back out to the top. Farragut up by 1 with the basketball. Nolan Nevels with the basketball. 2:23 and counting. The Wildcats need a steal. With the basketball will come Farragut. A near steal, a near 5-second count on the Admirals. 2:15 to play. They drive to the baseline along for a layup, which is no good. He walks with the basketball. Wildcats are going to get it. Good defense by Oak Ridge. The Wildcats down a point. 51-50, 2:11 to play in the ball game here at Clinton. Let's see if Coach Dodgen wants a timeout. Wildcats got the steal they needed. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. Farragut will not put any pressure on the Wildcats. Oak Ridge down 51-50, 2:10 to play in the ball game. Here comes the Wildcats down the floor. With it will come Oak Ridge's Jared Stevens. Wildcats spread it out a bit, working it out to Stevens. Stops to the top of the key. Works the ball to his right to Grant Domsick. The Wildcats want the perfect shot here. Grant works the ball cross court to Stevens. Won't take a 3. Goes into Rick. He drives in. He walks with a basketball, or is he fouled? It is a travel against Oak Ridge. Rick got the ball down low. Rick has struggled tonight for the Wildcats. Minute 47 to play, so back on defense we go. 51-50. Down the floor with the basketball will come the Farragut Admirals. Marcus Huey met by Jared Stevens at the midcourt line. Let's see if the freshman can get a steal away from him. They're working in. The Wildcats do steal it. Aaron White grabs it, calls a timeout, or did he ever have possession? Did he ever have possession? I guess he did, and the Wildcats have stolen the ball. Aaron White grabbed it, called a timeout to give possession to the Wildcats. Great hustle by Aaron White. He came to play. He's been all over the floor tonight.
If I have to pick an MVP of this game, it's definitely Aaron White. He's came to step it up for Oak Ridge. He has 12 points, and I mean, he's hustled all night, been scrapping for the ball. There's 2 times he's ran, jumped out of bounds trying to call timeout. That time he got it, unlike the other.
The key was he was able to maintain possession when he crashed into the garbage can across the floor. 51-50, Farragut by 1, a minute 35 to play. The Wildcats have not led since the second quarter. And it's a close one, 51-50. The Wildcats will have the basketball. 95 seconds to play in regulation. In somebody's season, potentially. The winner moves on to play their Power Heritage. The loser goes home. The Wildcats will have the basketball. Can't turn the ball over. They've had too many of those in this ball game. This game wouldn't be this way. Oak Ridge works into Grant Domsick, trailing by a point, 51-50. Down the floor they'll come. Minute 30 to play. Oak Ridge basketball, 51-50 Farragut. Jared Stevens outside the three-point line to Domsick. Grant Domsick, no place to go, works it inside. Inside to Rick, he drives, he stops, he shoots, and scores, and he's fouled. Daniels Mulholland scores. Oak Ridge takes the lead by 1. The basket was good, 52-51, a minute 17 to play. First lead since the second quarter, as the Wildcats led by 3 at one point in the ball game. As they go to the free throw line, 52-51 up by 1. Daniels Mulholland shoots, missed it. Rebound to Farragut. Wildcats with the lead, but the Admirals have the ball. 52-51 Oak Ridge. Here comes Farragut down the floor. A minute 4 to play in the basketball game. Admiral basketball. They work the ball into Huckins. Huckins shoots and scores. Wildcats down the floor, trailing by a point. 53-52. Down the floor will come Jared Stevens. The Wildcats work it across the line. Stevens penetrates the paint. Stevens pulls up and shoots. Missed it. Rebound to Aaron White. He goes back up with a shot. He's fouled. Foul called. No foul. Should have been a foul. Either way, it's knocked out of bounds by Farragut. The Wildcats will get the basketball. 43 seconds to play and a timeout is asked for. Farragut by 1, 53-52. What a great ball game. The Wildcats have inched their way back into it, but they still trail by 1 point.
That was a good job by Aaron White. Once again, hustling, getting the rebound, stuck it up, got blocked, but it looked from here, the point we got a pretty good view that he was fouled, but it'll be Oak Ridge's ball underneath their own basket.
43.7 seconds to play, 53-52 the score. Once again, it'll be the Wildcats with the basketball. Oak Ridge down by a point here. The winner advances to play their pal or the Heritage Mountaineers. The Wildcats will have the basketball. Trying to get the ball inside. Oak Ridge has had good success all night long getting the ball inside, but there's still plenty of time left here. The Wildcats are not very good at playing for a final shot. We've seen that all season.
Yes, if I was them, I'd try to work the ball around. And then, I mean, if you got an open shot, you better take it because, I mean, Oak Ridge, I mean, in the past, these past few games, I mean, when they try to take the ball down and try to get the last second shot, they usually fail. So I'd be going inside, maybe looking for Rick if he's open, or if Steve's got a 3, knock it down.
Wildcats can ill afford to turn the ball over here on the inbounds. Grant Domsick will work the ball in. 53-52 Farragut. Oak Ridge ball, trying to get the ball in. Yet to do so, need too soon. They work the ball into Daniels Mulholland, back to Jared Stevens, to Domsick. The Wildcats down by a point, 35 seconds to play. Jared Stevens works the ball to his right, dribbles to the top, gives it out to Youngkin. 32 seconds to play. Steve Youngkin with the basketball. Backs it up, the Wildcats down a point. Stevens holds it, works the ball to the top of the key. Inside of Aaron White, thought about shooting, kicks it out to Stevens. Jared has Grant free. Grant's gonna drive in, an 8-footer is no good. On the rebound, Rick Daniels Mulholland up, no good. Charge is called against Rick. Terrible situation for the Wildcats to be in. 15 seconds to play. Wildcats down a point. Rick got the ball down on the block, and they're calling for an offensive foul. And that's a tough call. might be the season-ending cause. Coach Dodgen wants a timeout. 15.7 seconds to play. The Wildcats down by a point, 53-52. Spencer, tough call against the Wildcats.
Yes, I thought Grant Domzik's shot was going to roll in. Rick came down with a tough rebound, and he just took it up strong. And that guy, I don't know if he was in position, but he did. If he wasn't, he did a good job of faking it because he bounced off of Rick pretty hard. And Rick just took it up, and I think you need to call that a no call in the game right here at this point.
Of course, we're a little bit biased a bit. 53-52 the score. The Wildcats designing the play, Coach Ricky Norris. The Wildcats down a point, trailed most of the ball game, took the lead for a moment, and still trail. Only 15 seconds to play. One of these two teams will end their season tonight. The other will move on to play either Pal or Heritage. Farragut on top, 53-52. As I mentioned, fouling them is almost a kiss of death. They seldom ever miss any free throws. They haven't missed any tonight. That doesn't surprise me. The Wildcats will put the pressure on. Either they need to try to get a steal or just a quick foul here as the Admirals will work the ball in from the baseline. It'll be Kyle Huckins to work the ball in. Huckins will try to work the ball in for the Admirals. He throws the ball off the body of one of the Wildcats. 14 seconds to play. Once again, Farragut will get the basketball along the baseline. Once again, it'll be Kyle Huckins to work it in. They lead by one, 53-52. Huckins trying to get it in, does, and they work the ball in. Then a foul is going to be called against Aaron White. The man fouled, Ben Bossy. 13 seconds to play. 3 for 3 at the line. Bossy, I believe, leads them in scoring. 19 points. Wildcats down a point here. 53-52. Still have some life here. We'll have to see what happens here as Bossy goes to the line. Rick Danos-Mahalan will come in for Quinche. Wildcats have 3 seniors, Aaron White, Rick Danos-Mahalan, and Brett Garinger, who don't want to close it out here and now. They trail by a point. 13 seconds to play. 53-52 the score. Bossy will have 1 in the bonus here. Here's the 1. He scores. Wildcats down 2. 54-52. If he hits this one, obviously the Wildcats need a 3 just to tie. Bossy back to the line. Free throw. He missed it, and the Wildcats have the rebound. Down the floor, Aaron White. Oak Ridge ball, and then he throws the ball away. 6 seconds, the Wildcats are about to lose as big collision. Wildcats got the ball. Wildcats got the ball on the missed rebound, and then they had plenty of time to get the ball down the floor, and they tried to throw a full court pass down the floor, and the Wildcats will call a timeout. That time, one of those situations where you get the rebound, you only needed the 2. I think it was Aaron who got it. He tried to sling the ball down the floor and put a floating pass down the floor. I think it was intended for Grant Domzig, and the Wildcats are 5 seconds away from their season coming to a close.
Yeah, he threw it to one of their most athletic players, if not one of the most athletic players on the floor is Marcus Huey. And, I mean, he just went up for the ball and just snatched it right over Grant Domzik's head. There's nothing Grant could do about that. It was just a bad pass. And, I mean, Oak Ridge, all they can hope for is that he misses both or misses one of these free throw shots.
54-52 the score. If he hits both of them, obviously the game is, there's no way in the world. But as I mentioned, they seldom miss free throws. Wildcats down 54-52. Wildcats against the Farragut Admirals. Farragut trying to beat Oak Ridge for the 2nd time this season, and they're 5 seconds away from doing it. The Wildcats need a miracle here. Wildcats have 3 seniors, Rick Danos-Mahalan, Aaron White, and Brett Garinger, who are perhaps 5 seconds away from their careers ending here at Oak Ridge. Wildcats turned the ball over entirely too many times tonight. The man fouled was Marcus Huey. The double bonus is in effect, so they'll get 2 shots regardless. If he makes both of them, obviously it's a 4-point game and the Wildcats are done. The Wildcats will watch Huey go to the free throw line. 54-52 the score. Fish fans make a lot of noise here. Huey shoots the first one up there. Good. Wildcats need a 3 just to tie. If he hits this toss, the game is over. To the free throw line, Marcus Huey. 55-52. Huey looking at the toss. Guns it up there. He missed it. On the rebound, Aaron White. Wildcat ball. Here it goes to Grant Domsick. Domsick, a three-pointer in a tie game. Good! He hit it! He hit it! He hit it! He hit the three! We've got overtime! We have overtime! We have overtime! Grant Domsick nails a three-point shot, and the miracle happens. 55 the score, and the Wildcats are in overtime. Big shot by Grant Domsick. It was not pretty at all. He banked that three-pointer in, Spencer.
He knocked that down. That was a great job by Aaron White, getting it out quick. The Grant Domsick, he pulled up, knocked it in. It was a bank, but it wasn't pretty. But hey, it counts. Made 3 points on the board. 55-55 in the second overtime game tonight.
Yeah, the first game, Clinton beat Bearden. The Wildcats have new life here. The excitement level, obviously the momentum perhaps has shifted. We can hope so if you're an Oak Ridge fan. I looked up at Coach Donald Dodgen, the head coach of the Farragut Admirals. I looked at him as now they stop play here. Let's see what the situation is. They are going to put 4 minutes back out on the clock. 55-55 the score. I looked at Coach Dodgen of Farragut. All he did was smile. I mean, he said, oh, great. And a big smile on his face. And obviously the Wildcats have new life. 55-55. Huge shot by Grant Domsick.
An amazing shot right there, David. You know, he got the ball out and got the ball down the floor. Farragut was afraid to foul him right there for some reason. I don't know. They let him get an easy lane down the floor, pulled up for a three, banked it in, and we're in overtime.
55-55. I mentioned the first game, Clinton beat Bearden in overtime. Wildcats will come out with Rick Daniels Mulholland, Aaron White, Steve Youngkin, Jared Stevens, Grant Domsick. 55-55, overtime period number 1. And the officials are discussing something. We've had a long night of basketball already. It's 9:30 as play is halted again. I'm not exactly sure what the conversation is at the scores table. I'm not sure what the scores table discussion is and why they haven't started. Maybe they're checking the score to see if the score is right. 55-55 the score on the scoreboard. And for whatever reason, we haven't started the overtime period. The official scorekeeper obviously had to run to the bathroom. I don't know if he knew the game was overtime. He got up and ran to the bathroom. That's the case. The scorekeeper and scoreboard operator went to the bathroom. I think he didn't know it was tied. 55-55 the score, and they're about to jump off overtime period number 1. Wildcats and Admirals here. Aaron White will jump for Oak Ridge. 4 minutes back out on the clock. Ball up controlled. It's going to be a Farragut ball. With a basketball will come Marcus Huey. Wildcats and Admirals. 55-55 the score. Huey works the ball to Wilson. Wilson works the ball top of the circle. They lob the ball inside. Now they kick the ball back out. They drive in along the baseline. There's a shot blocked by Rick. A charge is called against Farragut. Charge is called against Kyle Huckins. He trucked over the top of Aaron White, and Oak Ridge will get the basketball. 55-55 the score. 3:47 to play in overtime period number 1. Down the floor with the basketball will come Oak Ridge. Reminds me of the 1996 Oak Ridge Farragut ball game. Of course, it was different as Rick drives in, wants to shoot. He's called for an offensive foul. Wildcats turn the ball over again. Rick has not had the position to get inside all night long and commits his 3rd foul. Play is halted as Quinche comes in for White. In 1996, Oak Ridge played Farragut at Bearden in the region tournament, first round ball game. They were trailing with no time on the clock. They inbounded it to Tim Kane, who nailed a 3 that gave Oak Ridge the win. Of course, that was a victory. This one just sent it into overtime. Farragut ball. They are tied with Oak Ridge at 55. Emerald basketball, Ben Wilson drives, nearly walks, holds the ball, bounce pass along the baseline. Bossy spins, shoots, and scores. Farragut gets the first 2 points of overtime, 57-55, and Bossy has 22 points. He's been tough tonight. Oak Ridge ball, Jared Stevens with it, out it goes to Youngkin. Youngkin with the basketball to Domsick. Wildcats down by 2 points. We've been saying that all night. Here's Yunkin. Thought about shooting a three, won't do it. Back it goes to Domsic, back to Rick. Looks inside, works it over to Yunkin. He's got a three, it's on its way. He's fouled in the act of shooting a three-point shot. 3-point free throws about to be shot by Nolan. After the Nolan Neville's foul, Oak Ridge down 2, 57-55. And usually a pretty good free throw shooter, Steve Yunkin, will go to the free throw line. The Wildcats, as a team this year, from the free throw line, a 69% free throw shooting team. The first one is good. Yunkin closes the gap back to 1. 57-56 to score. 2:48 to play in overtime period number 1. Yunkin will have 2 more shots. The next one will tie it if he can hit it. He missed it. Steve will have another one. 57-56 to score. The junior back to the free throw line. 2:48 to play in overtime period number 1. Steve Yunkin trying to tie this ball game up once again. And he missed it. Missed 2 of the 3, and the Wildcats trail by 1. Wildcats down 57-56. Here comes Farragut down the floor once again. 2:40 to play. Wilson drives in, lost the ball out of bounds to Oak Ridge. Wilson was trying to pass the ball off, but nobody touched it, and the Wildcats have it. 57-56 Farragut. 2:36 to play in the basketball game. Jared Stevens, Quinche Dowdell, Steve Yunkin, Rick Daniels-Mahala in the ball game. Wildcat ball back to Stevens. Oak Ridge trailing by 2 with the ball. Here it goes to Grant Domsic. Penetrates to his right, gives it over to Steve. Steve back to the top, throws the ball away. It's an over and back call. The Wildcats miscommunication once again. Too many turnovers in the ball game. The Wildcats down 1 once again, and Brett Geringer is going to come into the ball game. Let's see who's going to check out. Out of the ball game will come Yunkin. 57-56 Farragut. 2:18 to play, overtime period number 1. Wildcats working the ball defensively is Huey. Works the ball left side to Nolan Nevels. Nevels works the ball to Bossy. Bossy's had a great night. They look back door. The Wildcats down a point. Farragut just working time off the clock. Holding the ball out high. 5-second count is on Huckins. He works the ball to his right, stops, bounce pass goes out here once again. Minute 55 to play. Both teams on the double bonus. Wilson holds the ball, works the ball left side. Back to Bossy it goes, works the ball along the baseline. They dribble in, they work the ball in for a shot. He lost it, the Wildcats steal it. Quinche Dowdell steals it, and the Wildcats have the ball. Down by a point, 57-56, 97 seconds to play in overtime. Grant Domsic with the basketball. Here it goes to Brett Geringer, inside of Rick, at the free throw line, goes left side to Yunkin, to Domsic for 3, good! 3-point shot! Grant Domsic and the Wildcats lead by 2. 59-57 to score, minute 19 to play in overtime. Here comes Farragut down the floor. Marcus Huey with the basketball, throws the ball out to the top to Nolan Nevels. Nevels is given a 3, out to Wilson, he drops, he pulls up, he shoots a 3, it's no good. Rebound Farragut, they lost it, loose ball, back up with a shot, no good. Pulled away by Oak Ridge. The Wildcats, and then a foul's called against Farragut. Personal foul against the Admirals. Oak Ridge by 2. 59-57 in overtime. 56 seconds to play. The Wildcats will shoot some free throws. I believe it was Grant Domsic, an 82% free throw shooter on the year. He'll go to the free throw line. Grant Domsic 2 for 2 at the line. The double bonus is in effect, trying to make it a 2-possession ball game. Grant hit a big 3 to send us to overtime, trying to make it a 2-possession game here. The junior looks to the toss, shoots it, good. 3-point Wildcat lead, 60-57 over Farragut. 56 seconds to play in overtime. Farragut trailing by 3. Grant Domsic back to the free throw line. One more free throw to try to give Oak Ridge a 4-point advantage. Shoots it, missed it. So Farragut still alive, 54 seconds to play. Here come the Admirals down the floor. 50 seconds and counting. Nolan Nevels to Wilson. 3-point game. The Wildcats in the lead. They work the ball for a 3. Browning guns it up there. We're tied. He hit the 3. Now the Wildcats need to be careful on their offense. 60-60. Oak Ridge has the ball. 34 seconds to play. Down the floor, Oak Ridge. Grant Domsic with the basketball. dribbles the ball to the right to Jared Stevens. 27 seconds to play in overtime. 60-60 our score. Wildcats holding the ball with 20 seconds to play. Brett Geringer gives it over to Jared Stevens with 17 seconds to play. Then Coach Norris calls a timeout. Huge three-point shot nailed by B.J. Browning. We've got 60-60 the score. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. David Clary back here along with Spencer Goldmeyer. Wildcats tied with Farragut 60-60. 15 seconds to play in overtime. Oak Ridge has the ball. Michael King doing our camera work right now. James Branson here with us. We had Austin Crow, Michael Friels, Kevin McKeithen, Philly Anders here. The Wildcats trying to advance to the second round to take on either Heritage or Powell. It's a 60-60 ball game. Wildcats, and all season long, Spencer, we've talked about this. Oak Ridge doesn't do a good job in this situation when they work for the final shot, but I'd rather be in this position with the ball and a tie ball game than it was the last time. As Oak Ridge prepares to work the ball in, Wildcats can ill afford to turn the ball over as the ball is worked into Domsic. 13 seconds to play, 12. Down the floor it goes to Brett Geringer, 9. Brett Geringer with 8 to Domsic. Domsic drives in, throws the ball away. 4, 3, down the floor, he falls down. It's a travel, and we're going to go to 2 overtimes. Wildcats turn the ball over. There's still .4 on the clock as Oak Ridge still has time here. Ravel Coffey's going to check in. 60-60, overtime period number 1. Wildcats turned the ball over and almost gave up the final shot. Ravel is going to heave it down the floor. He's a quarterback on the football team, as you know. He throws it down the floor to Rick, who can't get a shot off as the overtime period expires. So here we got a double overtime. 60-60 our score. They'll put 4 more minutes back out on the clock. What a great ball game here tonight. What a great night of basketball. I'm sure the Powell Heritage people are saying, when will this game ever end? We've gone to double overtime, 60-60. Spencer?
This is one of the most exciting games we've been involved in the last couple of years, especially this season is probably the most exciting. I mean, double overtime region play. It's elimination. We haven't faced that yet this year, and I mean, Oak Ridge has stepped up this last part of the second half and overtime. It's 60-60, and boy, is the fans into it tonight.
Wildcats have trailed most of the ball game. They trailed until Grant Domsic hit a 3-point shot just to get it in to the first overtime period. Wildcats are in a little bit of foul trouble. They'll jump it off once again. The Admirals are taller. They've won the last jump in overtime. The Wildcats, Oak Ridge just doesn't do a good job when they play for the final shot. I know in that situation they had to. They just don't do it very well as the 2 teams are back out on the floor. 4 more minutes on the clock. 60-60 the score. Girls will play tomorrow at 6:30 against Farragut. It's an elimination ball game. The winner advances to the championship game on Thursday in a sub-state. As now it's going to be Quinche Dowdell to jump for the Wildcats. To jump for Farragut will be Ben Bossy. He's 6'7". Quinche's 6'3". Officials from Upper East Tennessee will inbound it. Overtime period number 2. Official jumps in there, ball up control by Farragut. And we're underway once again. Admiral basketball, Nolan Neville's with it. To the top it goes once again. Whoever loses this ball game is going to be totally deflated. This game has been so exciting. Huckins with the basketball. Farragut took the lead in overtime the first time. Wildcats had a lead. Missed some free throws down the stretch, which were huge. A foul's going to be called against Oak Ridge. They'll shoot 2 free throws. They don't move. They don't miss their free throws. I mean, fortunately, they did a minute ago back in the regulation to give Oak Ridge an opportunity. They missed 2 tonight as Ben Wilson goes to the line. He's a 6'4" senior. 60-60 the score. The double bonus in effect. To the free throw line will go Wilson.
They're 9-11 so far as a team as he just knocks that one down. Nothing but the bottom of the net. That's just straight butt up.
Farragut by 1 once again. 61-60. 3:42 to play. Second toss up. Good. Wildcat ball down by 2 points. 62-60 the score. What a nerve-wracking ball game. Down the floor comes Jared Stevens. Here it goes to Geringer. The Wildcats down by 2 with the ball. Grant Domsic pulls up, has his shot blocked. shot it from the elbow, and then a jump ball is called. Should have been a jump ball. Should be a jump ball. They're going to say what? They're going to say foul against Oak Ridge. That's a quick shot. You can't fault Grant because he's stepped up big in this one, but he just pulled up and shot it. 3:29 to play. 62-60 the score, and Farragut back to the free throw line. Wildcats have not started out this overtime period very well. Down 2, trying to extend it out to 3 as Bossy shoots the first of 2. Good. 3-point Farragut lead. 63-60, and Steve Youngkin's going to come in for Brett Geringer. Back to the free throw line, Bossy. Oh, if the Wildcats had hit some of those free throws down the stretch, we would be talking about a ball game on Thursday. Bossy back to the free throw line. 3-point game. Good. 4-point game. It'll miss them. Here come the Wildcats down the floor. Need to be patient on offense. Need to score some points here. The Wildcats down by 4, 64-60, the most they've been behind since regulation. Domsick with the basketball to Steve Youngkin. Holds the ball over his head, works the ball back out to Grant Domsick. Penetrates right, gives it over to Steve. Back to Grant, three-pointer. They need it. Good! 3-point shot, Grant Domsick. Wildcats down a point. 64-63, 3 minutes to play in overtime period number 2. The Admirals down the floor once again. Here goes to Marcus Hewley, nearly falls down, dribbles to his right, backs it up, gives it over to Wilson. Wilson dribbles in, penetrates the paint, free throw line, throws the ball along the baseline. They drive in, they get a shot off, they miss it. Rebound back to Farragut. Farragut by 1 with the ball, 2:43 to play in overtime. A near steal by Jared Stevens, driving with the basketball. Huey kicks the ball back out, whistle blows, and an offensive foul is called against Farragut. Or is it? It is. Offensive foul, Farragut. 2:36 to play, and we'll shoot free throws on this end. The Wildcats down 64-63. Farragut did not execute that too well. 2:36 to play in the ball game. Steve Youngkin will shoot 2. It wasn't a player control foul. It was as they go to the free throw line. Steve missed a couple free throws, and he has 2 here. Good. We're tied. 64-64 the score. 2:36 to play in the second overtime period. You're listening to the game live on WATO. We'll have a highlight show at the conclusion of this night's broadcast. Youngkin back to the free throw line, trying to give Oak Ridge the lead. Missed it. Rick's got the rebound, and he scores! Rick Daniels-Mulholland gives Oak Ridge a 2-point lead. 2:31 to play, Farragut basketball. They thought about shooting a 3. They kick it out to Wilson. Wilson dribbles in, penetrates around a screen, works the ball inside. Rick steals it! Rick steals the ball! He gives it off to Jared Stevens. Jared Stevens goes coast to coast with it. He lost the ball. Farragut's got the basketball. They should have backed it up. Wildcats by 2, 66-64. 2:08 to play, Farragut down 2. Wildcats 6 straight points. Huckins with the basketball. Works the ball right side to Bossy. Bossy drives in, kicks it out to Huckins. He walks with the basketball. Wildcats will get it on the Farragut turnover. Minute 57 to play in the second overtime period. And Oak Ridge will get it. Minute 57 to play, which obviously is an eternity in basketball. 66-64 the score. The Wildcats playing with Quinche Dowdell, freshman, along with Jared Stevens, freshman, Steve Youngkin, Rick Daniels-Mulholland, and Grant Domsick. Minute 53 to play in overtime. Down the floor, Jared Stevens, the freshman, works the ball back out to Domsick. Grant Domsick penetrates, kicks it out to Youngkin. The Wildcats on top by 2, 66-64, working time off the clock. Jared Stevens with it over to Youngkin. Youngkin to Quinche, looks inside of Rick, drives in, but doesn't go all the way through. Now he's in a little trouble and works it out to Stevens. Oak Ridge on top by 2, 90 seconds to play in the ball game. Playing a little keep away right now. Jared Stevens works the ball right side to Domsick. Grant Domsick at the free throw line, falls down and turns the ball over. Looked like he was tripped, but the Wildcats don't get the call. Minute 22 to play. The Wildcats are just not good at stalling. I mean, they just aren't. And I don't say that derogatorily. Well, you know, they're just not. They're not good at that. 66-64, and Farragut calls a timeout. I need one myself. Take a break, send it back to our engineer, Darren Creek. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back here on AM 1290 WATO, Oak Ridge Schools Television Channel 15. Wildcats on top by 2, 66-64. Spencer, we're in double overtime. Farragut's got the ball with 1:22 to play in this overtime period.
Man, this is so exciting. The crowd's into it. Oak Ridge, look at this. Oak Ridge has a student standing section, and it is not a Clinton game. What do you have to say about that, Dave?
I can name them all, though, by name. That's how many they're here. Here come the Admirals down the floor with a basketball. Wilson. 1:19 to play in overtime period number 2. Oak Ridge by 2, 66-64. 1:14 to play. Farragut's got outstanding three-point shooters. Oak Ridge traps for the first time in a while. Wilson works backdoor. Farragut with the basketball. They shovel it inside. Bossy with it. Looks inside. Throws the ball in for a shot, and we're tied. 66-66 the score. Under a minute to play. And here comes the Wildcats doing what they don't do best. Working for the final shot. 50 seconds to play. Wildcats tied 66-66. They're going to work a little time off the clock. 5-second count is on Brett Geringer, so he has to give it up to Domsick. 40 seconds to play. 66-66 the score. Grant Domsick dribbles to his right, kicks it out. 34 seconds to play. Back it goes to Jared Stevens. We're in overtime period number 2. We might be headed for overtime period number 3. These guys have got to be exhausted. 23 seconds to play. Wildcats just holding it here. 20 seconds and counting. Wilson comes out, and as Oak Ridge calls a timeout. 16 seconds to play. 66-66 the score. Full timeout is asked for, but we'll just hold it here. Spencer, what a great ball game. The Wildcats just so fortunate really to be here. Grant hit that three-pointer with just a desperation shot to get us here. These guys have got to be dead tired. They have been playing physical, hard basketball for a long period of time now, and they've got to be dead tired.
There's not one team that's let up, and if you left after those last 2 games that were played, you're missing one of the most exciting games of basketball you might ever see. I mean, this is double overtime, has a chance to go in triple overtime. The score is tied 66-66 with 16 seconds left. We'll see if Oak Ridge can pull this one out with the last second shot. We'll see what Coach Norris has up his sleeve.
66-66 our score. The next ball game is Powell and Heritage. They've been ready to come on the floor for about 30 minutes. Of course, that game was scheduled for 9 o'clock. It is 9:50 right now, or around there. So they're about 50 minutes off. This is our second overtime game of the tournament. Of course, the first game was overtime. Farragut and Oak Ridge are tied 66. In that first game, Clinton came from 17 points down to get into overtime, and they beat Bearden in advance to play Maryville. Oak Ridge ball, 16.2 seconds to play. The Wildcats trying to move on to the semifinals of this tournament as Oak Ridge prepares to work it in. Then it comes to Jared Stevens, 15 seconds to play in the ball game. Oak Ridge ball, Stevens works the ball to the top of the key, 10 seconds, needs some help, lost his dribble, and then there's 5 seconds, the Wildcats turn it over. That's a good call. It's a good call. Jared Stevens turns the ball over, and Farragut can win it with 7.5 seconds. Wildcats, that was not very smart. Of course, he's only a freshman. 5-second calls. The Wildcats trail, or not trail, it's 66-66. Farragut will inbound it here with a chance to win it. Wildcats, now Farragut calls a timeout. Freshman mistake right there. He might have been fouled a bit, but they're not going to call anything right there. You got to realize that if you've held the ball that much with somebody defending you, you have got to give up the ball. Whether they're not going to call anything right there, so you got, and you know, he's just a freshman, and it's just a mistake that he made there. As Farragut with 7.5, that's such an eternity, especially as fluid as their offense is. Wildcats can ill afford to foul here. Spencer, 66-66 our score, double overtime.
Right there, Jared Stevens should have gotten rid of the ball. But you got, that's half that fault on the other Oak Ridge players. They need to come and get the ball from him. When they see he's in trouble, all 4 players just stood there while Jared dribbled the ball around. They need to come and get the ball, especially some of the senior leaders.
Still an eternity left on the clock. Wildcats devising what they're going to do. Can't afford to foul. I've talked about how good they shoot free throws. See if the Wildcats can steal the inbounds. 66-66 to score. Double overtime here from Clinton. The Admirals will work the ball in. Huckins will work it in from the side of the scores table. He works the ball in. Wilson with 6. Wilson with 5. He lost the ball. Jared Stevens has it, and he's fouled. Jared Stevens is fouled with 2.8 seconds to play, and Oak Ridge is going to shoot some free throws. 66-66. Farragut commits a foul that gave the ball to who I consider to be the worst ball handler that Farragut has. I guess they figured nobody would be covering, and the freshman has an opportunity right here to give Oak Ridge the lead. What a tough situation. AP did it a few years ago. Let's see if Jared Stevens can. The first one will give Oak Ridge the lead. He missed it. 66-66 to score. Only 2.8 seconds to play in double overtime. Let's see if Coach Dodgen tries to ice him, and he does. He calls a timeout. 2.8 seconds to play. You got to feel for that poor freshman. He hits the first one, and if he hits this free throw, and he's usually a good free throw shooter, but what a lot of pressure. I remember Adrian Porter stepped up and did that. Kevin, give us a recap of what happened back then.
I'll tell you what it was, David. It was actually in the region finals against Clinton. It was about the 5th or 6th time the Oak Ridge had played Clinton that year. Adrian Porter had 2 shots with about 8 seconds to go from the free throw line. Stepped up, one bounce, Pam, both times. Hopefully Jared can do that on his second toss right here.
He was a freshman then too, but unfortunately Jared missed the first one. 66-66 to score. Double overtime. If Stevens can hit this free throw, that's obviously a big if. Farragut will still have 2.8 seconds to get the ball down the floor. Freshman has played well tonight. Jared has only 4 points. This is his most important shot ever. He's nervous. You can just look on his face. He's a freshman. You can see it. He's scared to death. But he's a talented player. The worst thing that can happen, really, is he misses it, and they probably won't get another opportunity. Wildcats to shoot a free throw. Jared in the lead if he can hit it. Puts it up there. On its way. Good! Oak Ridge by 1. Farragut inbounds it. It's taken by Wilson. A three-pointer. The game is over. Oak Ridge wins. Oak Ridge beats Farragut. Oak Ridge has beaten the Farragut Admirals in double overtime. 67-66. The Admirals lose again in the postseason to the Wildcats. Oak Ridge has eliminated Farragut 9 times, I believe, 9 straight times. This is the 10th straight time since 1986. Oak Ridge has eliminated Farragut, and the Region 2 tournament has yet another semifinalist, and they are wearing the Cardinal and Gray. Oak Ridge in double overtime wins this ball game.